So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Navamsa series of the week. And this week we're going to be covering Moon in the seventh house for your D9 Navamsa chart. And what happens when Moon is in the seventh house, not in your birth chart, but in your Navamsa chart, which is a chart related to marriage, strength of planets, who you become into. So it's a very important chart. And, if you don't know if you have this moon in your Navamsa and all the other astrological details, just go to the link here, astrologycares.com, under shop section. We're going to find all the books, reports, consultations, and link to my academy, Maga Vedic Astrology Academy, where I'm actually going to be teaching the greatest nakshatra technique that I learned from this one mystery astrologer. And finally, I'm going to be revealing that here because I've been using it for about 6-7 months now, beautifully. But they learned it from someone else and they're like, listen, I don't have the permission. I want to make sure. So finally, they themselves got permission from someone else who originally taught them. They're like, yeah, go ahead. Have him, teach people in his academy. So I'll be doing that this weekend. And also I started my nakshatra book yesterday. Nakshatras at the speed of light, which is my experience with nakshatras. Because in the last 2 months, literally Togi was here the whole 2 months. Eve was in and out. And we just were observing nakshatras in my home. How things were. And man, it was just like to the core. And then I learned new things with nakshatras. Whatever you know about nakshatras, there's a lot more to it than what we just know. So I'm putting all that experience in a book form. So hopefully, I'm already at 15 pages in one night. I finished like 15 pages. So let's see how long this book is, but I'll bring it out soon. So anyway, let's start with our moon in the seventh house of the D9 Navamsa chart. So with moon in the seventh house, this is a very unique position for the moon to be in. Because here, first of all, a person wants experience in marriage. What do I mean by experience? They want to experience romance, lust, love. They want to experience the most lustful passion within the marriage. And usually this person attracts, they may not be attracted, but they'll attract very youthful individuals, people who are younger than them. So if it's a man, obviously, most of the time they marry somebody who's older or younger in age with them. Here, a woman with the chart may actually attract a person who might be younger in age with them or will have a very youthful look, very childlike look. And especially the marriage is like a childlike bond. It's like full of fun, adventure, innocence. But also that innocence has that experimental, lustful experiences. And moon, especially in the seventh house, bonds the person quite heavily, which can cross the border of even, being a bit crazy in a way. Because see, moon is mastish. It is our ability to remember and store things, store our experiences. Okay. And what happens is a person who has moon in their seventh house, their mind, their entire experience of life depends upon their counterpart, depends upon their spouse, depends upon other people. Like mind becomes unstable if this person is single or if this person is in a situation of being broken up or somebody leaves them. They lose their sense of self. Actually, is for this person, they put their heart and mind into the person. They're constantly thinking of that person. They're constantly thinking of how to improve my situation in marriage, what to do in marriage. Now, of course, in certain positions of the moon, you will find a person who is very promiscuous. Okay? including your spouse, will be quite promiscuous, may have affairs, because for them they love that honeymoon phase. Not all, I'm just saying some. They love that honeymoon phase. They love that phase of just romance and kissing and love and sexual encounter. They don't really want to deal with those natural ups and downs that come with the relationship. And so here, because you got to remember, moon is the wave of the ocean. So the wave of the ocean goes up and goes down. So here in marriage, they do not like to see too many ups and downs. Because no matter what, one is gonna get mad at the other if they're living for quite a while. And this is where we can see that with Moon in the seventh house, there's always fluctuation of emotions and fluctuation in the balance of the marriage. And one thing we see that a person can lose the focus on themselves with Moon in the seventh house. They will lose kind of like pampering themselves versus providing for the other person, versus nourishing the other person. Because as much as we know about the moon and his 27 wives and him being lustful and him being taking them away, literally forcing them into sexual encounters, moon is also known as nourishment. Moon is also known as the mother. So there's like these twin sides to it, like the waxing side and the waning side. Waning side is much more emotionally attached to nourishment. So this is where a person, they feel like I need something to nourish. I need something to take care of. Why? Because they don't have a sense of taking care of themselves after marriage. And one of the biggest things we see with this moon, they have to travel. They must travel. For them, travel, especially pilgrimage, become extremely important. And moon in the seventh house, the spouse will require absolute freedom. Because see, the moon is very focused on the other person. That means you're going to try to control that person. That means you're going to try to watch that person. And that person will have their own moon and they will not be liking that. So it's not, it's a great placement, but it's not the greatest placement. Again, because moon is very volatile. The planet that it sits with, the aspect it received, the planets that are in 12th and second from itself, those are the main ingredients that tell us how stable this moon is. But if you're just gonna judge the moon by itself, I mean, it can be unstable. Like you're gonna see a spouse with constant mood swings. That's one of the big things. Moon in the seventh house of Navamsa will bring a spouse with constant mood swings. It won't even do that in the birth chart as much. This is more with the Navamsa. You see? So these are some of the things that, you have to kind of look out for. And obviously, in Navamsa, it doesn't really matter if moon is waxing or waning. That's more of the birth chart. So, you have to look in the birth chart if the moon is waxing or waning. Usually, waxing moon is more sattvic, more pure. It's not so attracted towards the material things. Where a waning moon is much more into the material things. Like you'll see waning moon people being very rich. Where waxing moon people, they may be rich, but they're not really like hunting for it. They're like, look, I'm just doing my work. If you want to give me stock options, if my company gets sold for $100 million, great. It's not something I'm searching for. For me, it's the work. With the waning moon, I need those earthly things. So that's one of the differences. And then you can relate that to Navamsa. That does this person has a waning moon in the birth chart or waxing moon in the birth chart? How is that coming into the Navamsa? It's an art. It's an artistic science. Jyotish is artistic science. But, this was pretty much my explanation of moon in the seventh house of Navamsa without any sign or nakshatra understanding. But like I said, this coming week or two, I'm going to be revealing amazing, beautiful nakshatra technique that if you just learn this, you can figure out career, you can figure out, a person's life path. That's all I use actually now to determine what type of a career person needs to have. So anyway, guys, if you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And if you want to know where your moon is and reports, check out the links here or go to thinkific.com for my academy, Maga Vedic Astrology Academy. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.